Hello everyone, I'm Tommy with Studio Sense. Yesterday, if you follow my channel chronologically at all, you know that yesterday was an unboxing and first impressions of YSL's Y Eau de Parfum, which in my estimation is the best thing about blue fragrances. It's not the awesome side of blue fragrances, not the like derivative, boring, generic side of blue fragrances. So today I'm very pleased to bring you another unboxing of a YSL great, at least in my estimation, and that is Y Live. Y Live. Yes, kind of a dumb name. So when we come back, we're gonna have an unboxing of Y Live Eau de Toilette Intense for men, that and more, so stay tuned. Hey guys, and welcome back, and get ready. I'm gonna pull a Miyagi because there's gonna be some fragrance healing up in here. No, I'm just kidding. You might have noticed that I said fragrance unboxing, but I didn't say first impression. Well, the reason for that, can't say that it's the first time that I'm gonna be getting my nose on Y Live, because about 8 months ago, before this fragrance was available in the US, I had a chance to get my nose on it with a good friend of mine, Ashton of Gents. If you did actually see that video when it was released, then you might have recognized this.
And you're live.
Yes, that was my voice saying you are live, and while the pun wasn't intended, it is now on a t-shirt that's available in the merch store. Just kidding, I don't have a merch store, not yet anyway. But that was a fun day. We had Y Live going on a versus with Office for Men, and if you want to see the results of that, I'll leave a link in the description below. You might want to check that out, it was pretty cool. Today though, we are going to do an unboxing of Y Live, and I'm going to get my nose on it, refresh my memory as to what it smells like, and that way I can bring you a agendaless or non-agenda, if you prefer, opinion about this, if you value that kind of thing. And with 8 months worth of thoughts, ideas, and reviews on the interwebs about Y Live, I would hope that it would be important to those of you thinking about purchasing this fragrance, what it's actually like. Because I don't subscribe to haterism or shillism. I'm a big believer in discoverism, as the isms go. The reason that I bring this up is that there are a few websites out there that are otherwise legitimate that have for some reason rated this fragrance really low, and there's a lot of people because of that, either because of that or as a result of them hating on the fragrance, have rated it low. It's kind of created a little bit of negativity, or a lot of negativity, surrounding this fragrance simply because it's a popular smell, simply because it's mass appealing and crowd pleasing. A little bit that I jumped on my soapbox yesterday and talked about. And I don't buy into that, and I know that you, free thinker that you are, don't buy into that as well. So self-discovery will net the honest results that you're looking for. Interestingly enough, that's actually the type of man that Y Live has said that it's slated for. Inspired by the man on the brink of discovery, on the edge of success, Y Live is a unique scent for the man on the end of his path of discovery, of self-discovery. A little bit of philosophical, a little bit of bullcrap media marketing there, but the truth is, there's absolutely no reason to jump on the hate train, on the hate wagon, because of a fragrance being super popular, or because of a fragrance being produced to be liked. It's like the analogy of if you spend hours and hours, literally hours and weeks and months and even years of your time on a novel, why would you not want people to read it? Like when you're done, that's my denouement, it's my final chapter, my great work, my magnum opus. So you finish this great work and you're like, I only want a couple people to like it. If a lot of people like it, that must mean it's crap. I get that kind of crowd thinking, that socio-eccentric kind of look or outlook on things, like the greater the majority of people, if you want to be different, the greater majority of people that like something, you can't like it because too many people like it. It's not the kind of thing that I subscribe to on my channel. Let's go ahead and forget about all that. We're gonna hit the reset button, boop, whoosh, reset all of that. We're gonna start from ground zero, from scratch with this fragrance here and check it out. So let's first start with that presentation. there's an ideology or maxim that goes, why mess with a good thing? Or if it isn't broke, don't fix it. Some people think that that's the case with fragrances. If you come out with a really great fragrance like Y or Y Eau de Parfum, which is a really deep, rich version of Y, the DNA, which we discovered yesterday, why mess with that? Why would you do something that's close to that but different? This is the answer to that question. Y Live is a wonderful, wonderful fragrance that still has that Y DNA, but it's a little bit of a departure. It adds a level of refinement and a level of note difference that adds kind of a complexity to that. Now, a lot of people think that, well, signature fragrance is great for every season, every occasion, every event. But think about this. What about those times where you don't want to use Y Eau de Parfum, but you'd like something similar to it? The answer is Y Live. I can smell it in the air now. That's why I'm saying that. It's refreshing my memory of when Ashton and I did that Versus with Office for Men. I was somewhat disenfranchised by the blue fragrance genre because it's mostly shower gel, it's mostly soapy or boring, more shower gel really than anything else. When this came out and I got my nose on it, I definitely said, I gotta pick that up. I've gotta pick that up. For some reason, I waited 8 months, I don't know why, but here we are. Let's check it out on a strip and then we'll go for our skin test. I mean, it's hardly necessary to spray it on a strip because I've got it right here in the air still. Now, I will say this seems to fill the room. Oh man, I love that. That opening is so much brighter. I will say this though, I mean, right off the bat, the opening is a lot brighter and more intense than the Eau de Parfum. I have an intuition that this may not last as long in terms of longevity. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll find out, maybe I'm wrong. My intuition is telling me that this is gonna sit somewhere between the Y release and the Eau de Toilette Y and the Eau de Parfum Y. That this is gonna come somewhere in between. In a graph like this is probably going to be slanting closer than the Eau de Parfum than it is the Eau de Toilette. Why? Because of its intensity. I can tell you this much. I do like Y Live's opening a little bit better than I like the Eau de Parfum opening. I don't have anything on my skin. I'm going to go ahead and spray and we'll wait on that dry down to kind of get the final. Put 3 sprays on there. So we're going to go ahead and talk about the notes in this a little bit, and then we'll talk about that dry down as we experience it. Fragrantica.com is a great website. I use it a lot of times as a resource. If you're interested in new and upcoming fragrances, it's a great resource to go to. The articles on there are well thought out, they're well written. But the problem with Fragrantica, at least one of the problems, is they don't update anything. So, and a lot of times they'll actually list incorrect notes, like absolutely incorrect notes in a fragrance. And so you'll go looking at the notes and you'll think that a fragrance has sage or saffron or, you know, Himalayan coral flower or whatever the case may be, and it actually doesn't. You go to either the fragrance press release or you go to the, you know, a different website and it says something completely different. Fragrantica is wrong very often and completely wrong on Y Live. So if you go to Fragrantica.com and you look up Y Live Eau de Toilette Intense, what it's actually going to say is in it, it says it's going to have orange blossom, ginger, bergamot, sage, and juniper. That's what Fragrantica says is in Y Live Eau de Toilette Intense, but it's not. There are some notes that are correct, but they're leaving out a whole slew of other notes. So I'm not going to do the typical fragrance pyramid of top, mid, and base. I'm just going to tell you all the notes that are in this fragrance, and then you can make up your own mind where they actually appear. Are the notes of grapefruit, pear, juniper, geranium, orange blossom, tonka bean, amber woods, vanilla, and cacao. You get the orange blossom and the pear mixing together. That makes a really fruity, and I mean juicy fruit opening. This open fills the room. When you spray this, a couple sprays, it's literally going to hang in the air for a while because it's so fragrant. It's so, and the projection is extremely broad. So it's got that warm, invigorating base of amber woods plus the juniper. So it does have kind of a warm, rich, but lightly green base. And with that green helps buoy it. So that's what helps project off the skin, but not so far, not so cloying and not so heavy-handed that you can't wear this at work in an office environment or in a situation where you're in a room with a lot of other people. In an almost effortless and elegant way, I really like how this forms once it's sprayed on skin and how it opens up. Going into the dry down, there is some familiarity with Bulgari Aqua Atlantique. Some people have brought that up, and I think Best Brand Perfumes brought it up before in a review that I briefly saw, and I've heard other people talk about. There's a little bit of a salty, semi-briny bite to this once it dries down. It's quite a bit different than Y Eau de Parfum. It's a little bit warmer and definitely a little bit saltier, so that may add to the longevity of this. I can't say that for sure, but at least it appears that it may impact it to a positive degree. To me, this isn't just another blue fragrance. The Y line represents a departure from the generic shower gel derivative blue into something that's quite exciting. It's not really going on the ozonic, aquatic direction. It's going into a deep base blue-green, so you get a little bit of the forest. So to me, this is more foresty than it is oceany. So that's why I say blue-green. And to me, that's my absolute favorite. So far in my fragrance journey, I have to say that the Y line of blue fragrances, besides Bleu de Chanel, BDC, stands on its own, of course, has been my favorite of the blue fragrances. And I'm really excited about how unique they are and to see what YSL will do in the future, not only with the line, if they're gonna add to it or if they're gonna branch off, whatever they decide to do. I'll be a follower, good or bad, and we'll see what comes of it. But in my estimation, you can't go wrong with Y Live Eau de Toilette Intense for men. Now, one thing about the name, it can be a little bit confusing with the Y line because the box says Y Live and on the very bottom it's going to say Eau de Toilette Intense. So a lot of people will think, well, Y Live and then Y Live Intense are two separate fragrances. They are not. They are one and the same. So don't be confused by the nomenclature or what the box says or what the bottle says. Y Live Intense, absolutely the same fragrance. I enjoy them all, but probably my favorites are the Y Eau de Parfum and Y Live Eau de Toilette Intense. Now, not being that old of a fragrance, it's still, I don't think it's quite a year old yet. It's still relatively expensive. You can find this fragrance online in a 100 ml bottle for right around 80, 85 bucks, probably about the cheapest that you're gonna find it from a discounter like on eBay, but be aware of where you're purchasing it. If you find it for less than that, if you find this fragrance for 60 bucks, it's probably gonna be fake. So just be aware of where you purchase it. If you're not sure about our website, make sure to check with the fragrance community or ask a friend. Well guys, that's gonna be it for my unboxing and my refreshing my memory, as it were, for the Y Live Intense. Thanks for stopping by and watching this review. As always, thank you so much for your support on my channel. I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and I'll see you next time.